Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, a top WWE star was legitimately injured last night.
A new WWE signing has been confirmed.
One of AEW's stars has signed a new contract after WWE speculation.
And have the locations for next year's Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 41 been revealed. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I don't know, to be honest.
No. And this is the news.
All right, we're going to kick things off by talking about Kevin Owens. He's injured. It's not a work either. WWE are now turning it into a work, but he was legitimately hurt on last night's Raw. So, spoiler alert, I guess, but the show's already aired, so is it really a spoiler?
Yeah.
I don't know. Kevin Owens was kind of ringside sort of for Sami Zayn versus Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship, the NXT belt, of course. He was at ringside to start, but he was brawling with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley was getting involved, and they all got sent away. But then later on, towards the end of the match, the Judgment Day attacked Kevin Owens, top of the stage, blah, 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 beating him up just like this. That's how you do it. That's how you fight someone.
We've been in lots of fights, me and him.
Hundreds between us. Sami Zayn got distracted by this and he got rolled up by Dominic. Dominic won. Later, he is the greatest wrestler of all time, indisputable. Dominic Misawa, I've started calling him. But we went to the backstage area. Kevin Owens was getting checked out by a medic. Adam Pearce was there. Sami Zayn was looking concerned. Kevin said something along the lines of, I think I broke something. We don't know if the break is legitimate, but he is actually hurt. Worked Wrestling tweeted after the show, Kevin Owens has suffered a legitimate injury that is being used to advance the story. It is currently unclear how long he'll be sidelined. And Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp has corroborated this, confirming the injury, having followed up on it, which she tweeted about. So, speculation will instantly turn and questions will arise now because Kevin Owens is a champion in this company. He's the World Tag Team Champion with Sami Zayn, of course. So this could be potentially devastating. If it is a long-term injury, what happens to that reign? Do they vacate the titles? Do they do something else? We'll find out. Either way, I'm sure there'll be updates on Kevin's condition, how long he's going to be out for. Maybe he just gets a cool cast and he can just run around biffing people with it or something, Cowboy Bob Orton style. But hey, what do you reckon? I mean, obviously you reckon this is bad, but elaborate on that.
Yeah, awful news coming off the back of last night's Raw. I think there was something about Liv Morgan as well. I think that might be a legit injury.
She's hurt too, yeah.
Just awful timing for both of them. I was talking on the preview yesterday that we could easily book Liv versus Rhea for the title at SummerSlam. That is an easy build for a match that we all know Rhea's going to probably retain in, but still, Liv, big match at the second biggest show of the year. The Owens stuff though, man, that is really devastating because I've loved their title reign and just the whole dynamic of them as not only as champions but as sort of marshals of Monday Night Raw, and Kevin Owens going, that's not the way things happen. We have to mention you in a promo before you interrupt us.
He's so angry at the moment.
They're living their best lives right now. They more than deserve it. They had a phenomenal title win, obviously, at WrestleMania. I really hope this reign doesn't end with them just going, there you go, Postman Pierce. I mean, like you say, it's all a bit up in the air right now. If it is long term, then that's just going to have to happen. I think I'd rather that than a blatantly obvious Sami Zayn, I'll just fight someone 2-on-1 and then lose the titles. Yeah. Annoyingly, the people I'd say, it'd be quite fun to take the titles off them, also are carrying an injury in Pretty Deadly. Although he recovered from one half of that injury by leaping out of a wheelchair on SmackDown, which I thought was sensational. God, I really hope this isn't the end of their title reign. It feels like whoever takes the titles off them will have a real boost by doing that rather than just being like, I was only the tag titles.
Yeah.
Like the last time they changed hands was in the main event of WrestleMania, so.
Yeah, it would be a total bummer, but let us know down in the comments section what you would do if this means the reign has to come to an end. Are they vacating? Is Sami Zayn defending on his own? That'd be crackpot, but it'd be kind of fun. Let us know down in the comments section below. Get involved in the conversation. And now, a quick word from today's sponsors.
Well, Andy, the rematch is on this weekend in Salt Lake City, and there's a shot at the belt on the line. Look, UFC 291 looks absolutely stacked, and this video is in partnership with DraftKings, who are offering new customers who use promo code WhatCulture and bet just $5 on this weekend's rematch, $150 in bonus bets instantly.
That's right, new customers can bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights and receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. Stay in on the action and use your $150 in bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and method of victory.
DraftKings is the only place place where you can bet same fight parlays.
And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, then don't worry, you can still get in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. DraftKings is offering huge UFC contests this weekend with massive cash prizes up for grabs.
So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use our promo code WhatCulture and bet just $5 on any wager to receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code WhatCulture only at DraftKings. And now, back to the video. Well, after a quick costume change, we're back with another news story, Andy.
We are so quick at those.
It is about a new WWE signing, one that's been speculated on for the past, 2 weeks since he left AEW, basically. It's Brian Pillman Jr., as reported by Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes. He's expected to be moving to Orlando by the end of next month and then heading to the Performance Center. And it's in the process, the deal of being finalized, or it's already sealed. It's a done deal, basically. He was recently on a virtual signing for Captain's Corner, and he said this: "It's kind of in the works right now, but I've got a huge moment, a huge opportunity coming up in my career to continue making memories, continue coming up with new gear ideas and sharing my ideas of pro wrestling with you all." I think a lot of people assumed that this may be the case when he was revealed as being not released. His contract expired within AEW, so he was a free agent. And it's Brian Pillman's son. I feel like there's still a lot to be done there. It didn't really work out for him in AEW. I was hoping for more, especially after that feud with MJF. But look, this is the way things go. Hopefully, better times for him in WWE, and no doubt we'll see him on TV sooner rather than later, because he's a real talent.
Yeah, I think he'll have a better time wrestling elsewhere if the last few months of his AEW run is anything to go by, because the Varsity Blondes just kind of vanished.
Yeah.
Obviously, Julia Hart left the group, joined the House of Black, all of that stuff. But then, they continued as the Blondes, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. for a while, but they hadn't been seen in blimmin' ages. So, I think Brian is best served continuing his career elsewhere. He's still young, he's still promising, and I'm sure he'll do well at the Performance Center in WWE, so good luck to him. Obviously, this situation is a little bit different from the situation we reported on the other day when we aggregated the report of WWE no longer actively pursuing contracted AEW wrestlers. The difference, in case anyone is confused, here would be that Brian Pillman Jr. was not contracted. He was a free agent. His contract expired, so they could do that. It's not the same as picking up the phone and going, "Hello, Andrade, would you like to come back?" I've just picked that Andrade's name out of the sky there. It doesn't mean anything. But hey, speaking of Andrade.
Segue.
Yes, it is a segue. Roosh, his mate, has re-signed with AEW.
He has.
Yeah, he has.
And they were in a team, and if you want to be in our team, by the way, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell.
Forgot about that bit. There we go. Join us. We do this every single day. You get notified. It's great. Ring the bell. Speaking of ringing the bell, Rush has rung the contract bell.
Yes!
He confirmed this in a video that he uploaded to his Twitter last night. Tony Khan was there.
He didn't upload it to his Twitter,
Sorry,
mate.
X. Elon Musk is a divvy. Him and Tony Khan signing the deal. There was a caption which attached to this. It said, "I started a new chapter in my personal and professional career. People doubted I could make it. Today, I want to say that I am 100% AEW. Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you, fans. And thank you, my LFI brothers. We can now rule the wrestling world." So there was speculation last week, and it was brought on by a bunch of social media stuff from Roosh and various family members of his, Dragon Lee being one of them.
Old pot.
Stirring the potski. And Dave Meltzer reported in the Wrestling Observer Radio that Roosh's 1-year contract with AEW had either expired or was due to expire. And he hadn't been on AEW TV for a few months either, so it's understandable that people were a bit like, what's going on with this guy? Now, Dave writes in today's Wrestling Observer Daily Update that Roosh and WWE had a mutual interest in working together, but WWE sources believed that AEW had offered him a more lucrative deal, and the WWE sources believed that Roosh was going to stick with them as a consequence of this. That's what's happened, and hey, there's a guy on Saturday nights called Andrade who's currently feuding with House of Black all on his own. He could probably use some allies. That's how you get Roosh back on TV.
And he's got a ladder match on Saturday for his mask with Buddy Matthews, of course.
He does.
I think this is the right thing to do for everyone. I mean, WWE probably gutted to miss out on Roosh, but when I first heard that he might be leaving, I did have a real sense of like, oh no, there's lots of unfinished business for him in AEW. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's fair to say he came in, everyone got very excited, Then, I don't know whether he took his eye off the ball or just things didn't go right for him for a while. Then it was a bit like, And then he came flying back in. He kicked the crap out of Jungle Boy, if you remember. And I think he's just been, I'd say since the start of this year, he's just been a real revelation for them.
Yeah.
And understandable that they'll throw a load of money at him to make him stay.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily a case of him like getting better or worse. I think it's a case of people just learning what Roosh is.
Maybe, yeah.
This is what he is. You either get a guy who maybe looks a little bit laconic, maybe out there not necessarily always 100% engaged,
Fair.
but when he's on, he is a psychopath killer murderer. And that's why I love the guy. One of the all-time greats. He's not one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but he is one of the all-time greats in my eyes.
I believe that also influencing the deal was AEW purchased that green cable he keeps under the ring. And it's like, well, if they've got that, then I kind of have to stick with them.
This is one guy who won't be cutting the cord anytime soon.
What's the latest on Jose the Assistant's deal? That's what I care about, because when that man takes his top off, I get excited.
I was going to say, what's the latest on his abs, brother? Damn, Jose.
We'll get back to you on that. We'll do some research and have him in the background tomorrow with his top on or something. Let's move over back to WWE now, Andy.
We're bouncing around.
Now, don't get it twisted here, because I had to double check with Andy before we came in, right? This is an update on the locations for next year's Royal Rumble and then the WrestleMania the year after that, because obviously 2024's WrestleMania goes down in Philly. 2024's Royal Rumble looks like, according to PW Insider, it is heading to Florida. Rumoured places include Orlando or Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, which is where the Thunderdome was, of course.
So technically they'd be returning to that building, just with people in it this time. Yeah.
And for WrestleMania 41, according to Fightful Select, it could well be Minneapolis, Minnesota, not a tiny Coke can. I'm talking about...
What? What are you on about?
Minnesota. Not Minnesota, as I thought.
Sammy Sosa.
I genuinely thought that was what it was called when I was growing up. Anyway, WrestleMania 41. It could well be the US Bank Stadium. Is that the Viking Stadium? I think isn't it?
That's in Norway, I think, but it's a football.
73,000 capacity, a world-class venue. Interestingly enough, they're apparently going to go there for WrestleMania a few years ago, and then it got leaked. So they went, right, we're not going there now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's taken enough time, but 73,000, just enough to host WrestleMania, I suspect.
Probably be all right, won't it? And you'd imagine like wrestling setups are always a bit different because you can put people on the pitch, but then you need a bunch of the stand to have your crazy set and stuff. So cool. I don't know anything about the city of Minnesota, so I can't really add anything.
But we'll find out more, because we are going to WrestleMania 41, which is always speak it into existence. Don't worry.
Twin Cities, I believe. Is that?
I've never. One of my big bucket list things to do is to go to a Royal Rumble. I sense I probably won't be going to one in January of next year, with my child being 5 months old. It's going to be tough to get the pass out for that one, but eventually, Orlando. That makes me excited, because that makes me think more NXT people could show up.
There you go, 100%. Yeah, they're incapable of leaving Florida.
Exactly, they're stuck there.
You can just ride an alligator. It's really
like the Truman Show.
Yeah, it's really that's how it works. Right, let's move on to today's question.
What's happening?
X questions.
You're doing the questions.
Yeah, what's going on? I don't know.
It's X questions. Andy's hosting. I'm getting twisted today.
I did go to x.com to find these, but they didn't come
Careful when you're typing that in your browser, by the way.
Especially on a work computer.
Oh, boy.
Jiminy Jillikers. Keith Baker has been on. He's got a Scottish national team logo in his avatar. So
wonder why he chose him.
Clearly a good guy, I wonder. Wants to know, with the rumoured return of Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam, who do you think his return feud will be with? Thanks for all the great content. Thanks for the great support, Keith.
Yes.
So, there was a report the other day stating the Wyatt might get involved in one of the 3 main events of the night. So I guess that would be Brock Cody.
Please no.
Seth,
No.
Seth Balor.
Okay, maybe.
What's the other one?
Roman J.
How did I forget that?
If you get involved in tribal combat, my head's going to explode, Bray.
Who's Bray's comeback feud going to be?
I mean, if it has to be out of them, sorry, Seth and Finn, but it's just one of you two.
Hey, if you do it with Finn, we could finally get the big match. The Pumpkin versus Sister Abigail, brother. It's back on the table.
Finn's going back through doing feuds from the past 7 years that we haven't got around to, basically. What was it? I'm going to make you my 7-year bitch. What a line that was on Monday Night Raw. I hope, personally, it's like Joe Gacy or someone in NXT like that, because I'm terrified of what they do with Bray Wyatt. Look, LA Knight don't get me wrong, I like Bray Wyatt as a character, and I think, his return garnered a huge amount of attention for WWE. But LA Knight's the only one to get out of it and still have some semblance of a push, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it has to be someone who Bray Wyatt can beat, basically. Yeah. Whether it's someone like, I don't know if I want this to happen, actually. But I was thinking of someone who I was like, oh, who can lose? And it's Drew, because he can lose and then turn.
And then leave.
Or leave.
It might be the only way.
But, man,
the thing is, I think even if you're the most hardcore of hardcore Bray Wyatt fans, you've got to admit that generally when people finish feuding with the guy, life doesn't go all that well for him.
It worked well for Finn, because he needed a character revamp after that SummerSlam when he lost the feud.
100%, but these are the exceptions rather than
if they want
to
turn up to work next week.
Yeah, Rollins is the perfect example of that.
God.
So I was quite interested to see his name mentioned here. So they've got to be careful. LA Knight was in a hole for months after that match, and he dug himself out by being just really great. So they got to be careful. As far as a serious answer goes, I think that out of all of these, they might go with Rollins, because
this version of his character might be able to...
Might pull it off. I know it was a disaster before, but maybe they can pull it off.
Yeah, creepy versus wacky.
Giant hammer, bang,
yeah,
bring it back.
I could see him carrying a giant hammer, and I mean Seth Rollins.
Yeah, dressed in a scarf or something.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Oh God, that sent a shiver down my spine, that has.
Seth Rollins
if they get involved in that flipping Roman and Jay match, or the... Yeah. God, if it's Cody. No.
Brother.
I know he's got to keep busy until sort of January.
Yeah, but not that way. Not that way. Seth Rollins.
Corrupt Pharaoh or something.
Seth Rollins could have
Pharaoh's black now. He's got black fur.
Next question.
Let's move on.
That's enough.
Seth Rollins. We say Seth Rollins.
Ryan Connor wants to know, does AEW need a performance center and a developmental brand? Big question, baby. Performance Center, I mean, they could open their own training school. I don't think that would do any harm. Developmental brand, I say absolutely not. I'm of the staunch opinion that developmental wrestling does not belong on TV at all.
I disagree. NXT kicks ass.
Well, I don't think... Here's my point.
Yeah.
I don't think the wrestlers who are... I don't think it's fair putting untrained people who are having their second or third matches and they've just come out of a gym on TV, because they will make mistakes and that puts them on scrutiny, and it means that lots of horrible idiots online come after them, and it's not a good microscope to be under. The thing that invariably happens whenever WWE try to put a developmental brand on TV, do you know what happens? It turns into a third brand, and it's not really developmental anymore. Mm-hmm. Now they've got NXT Level Up over here that everyone watches, as for the younger wrestlers coming through or whatever. It never works. I think it's a bad idea, and AEW should not do that.
Yeah, people are going to go after me in the comments, but haven't AEW sort of got a performance center?
Ring of Honor.
I.e. A, Ring of Honor, and B, when I interviewed William Regal ages ago, he said, look, the pros get to the show early and hang around the ring. If you want to learn something, just go up and ask.
Yeah.
They're not exactly going to drill a 15-minute match with you, but I'm sure Brian flipping Danielson is nice enough to give you 2 minutes to say, here's how you do a good hammerlock DDT or so. I don't know. And yeah, in terms of a developmental brand, they had it with Dark and Dark Elevation, and it was just 3-minute, 2 green guys getting into it matches, and it was like, right, why would I bother watching this unless there's an absolute boy popper? To be fair, there were. Youngest Men Alive were on that show.
They are the youngest men alive. Ring of Honor is kind of taking that role to a degree, although it's a bit different. They have pay-per-views and stuff. But to me, I think things are fine as they are, and people can train with their respective trainers, speak with the pros, all that stuff.
Don't do stuff you don't know how to do.
There you go.
There's your developmental
life advice.
As your performance center.
Our final question of the day comes from Stu Hart. Apologies if I've mispronounced your name. There's here we go. Hello. Do you see either WWE or AEW ever having a woman as their top star? If so, who do you think it would be? I think this is a really interesting question, because I think that Bianca Belair is the person best positioned in WWE to be the next John Cena in terms of a franchise player and also just a wonderful PR public face of the company, but sometimes the way she's booked hasn't really lent itself to positioning her in that role. So I think, yes, they absolutely could. And yes, it should be Bianca. I will say, however, that Rhea Ripley is the undisputed top star of WWE at the moment, and I will not hear otherwise. Who's Roman Reigns? I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you're going to list the top 3 stars on Monday Night Raw right now, you'd say the World Heavyweight Champion, you'd say Cody Rhodes, and then you'd probably say Rhea Ripley. Not even necessarily in that order. Yeah, obviously, I think the way the world is going, and quite rightly, there should be a woman as the figurehead of either WWE or AEW. I have to say right now, it looks far more likely within WWE than AEW because they've got stars. They just go, one match for you a week on Dynamite, one match for you a week on Collision or whatever it may be. For God's sake, Tony, book more women's matches on television.
And they don't invest high. And the AEW's one of the way they book, right, a lot of it is based on the numbers and stuff and these magic spreadsheets that I'm sure Chris Harrington, shout outs, he's done a great service to the wrestling community over the decades. All the numbers they track and all the quarter hours and everything, they book by that, and it's like, who's making the difference? We put them in that spot. The problem is within the women's division, right, maybe a match doesn't draw or whatever, but it isn't drawing because the time hasn't gone into building the characters up and investing them to the same degree as a Rhea Ripley in WWE or a Bianca Belair. There are exceptions to this. Britt Baker would be one of them, and she is the person who I would say, if anyone's going to be WWE's top star from the women's division, it would be Britt Baker, because her personality is just out of this world huge.
Tony Storm as well.
Yeah, Tony, like there's options for sure. They just don't put the time into developing as many characters that will get over it and then draw ratings so you could have more matches. It's like a really vicious cycle that they've left themselves in, and I'd like to see them brush up on it. But
I think the fact we sit here every week and say you don't need to book anything other than the WrestleMania next two WrestleMania main events book themselves. It's Cody versus Roman, where he finishes the story. I know Cody doesn't like that phrase anymore because of the rubber chicken stuff. And the other main event of WrestleMania should be a one-on-one match, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca, which is effectively who's the face of WWE in the women's division.
There you go.
It's real easy. I think they need to get better at booking Bianca on a week-to-week basis. Hamflett always banging the drum on this one. I think he's absolutely spot
100%.
on. She has the best matches of the year at the big shows, and then they go, what are we going to do with her? Just have her kind of go back and forth a bit with Asuka? It's like, no. Would you do that with Roman Reigns? No.
No,
so book her better. But yeah, Bianca or Rhea, or like you say, Britt or Tony, I don't see a reason why over the next few years they couldn't be the face of either company.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this, you'll enjoy this.
Ew.
We'll see you later.